This is Maurice M. Glazer Financial Network. Again, I want to introduce Gary Shearling. He's Glazer Financial's tax manager. Gary is very involved, fortunately, because he's very good at it, and unfortunately because the IRS is out there. And I thought it would be good for Gary to discuss a little bit about collections and some of the issues about do not run and hide. Come forward and let us try to get it corrected. Anyway, Gary, do you want to discuss
Sure.
some of the issues?
We'll talk about some general things, absolutely, Maury. As you probably read in the papers and see all over, hey, the IRS is seemingly coming harder, coming a little faster, and hey, we got a huge national debt, so the mandate is to collect tax and to close the tax gap, and that's a big one. But anyhow, so from the collection point of view, yes, if you owe tax, hey, eventually you're going to get a notice, and eventually they're going to be tapping you or calling you or levying your bank or doing something. So here are just some suggestions that we use. Of course, number one, when you receive a notice, you need to open it, or you need to bring it to your advisor. You need to bring it to us. Many people are afraid to open it, but hiding in the sand doesn't exactly solve the problem. So open the envelopes or bring them to me. I'll open them for you. And if you're not a client and you want us to represent you, then we work out the technical details there about fees and retainers and so on. And then we have you sign a power of attorney, and then we act in your stead. One of the big things we do is we communicate with the IRS. We see what level or what stage the collection action is at, and you know, you do have time. Just because you get the first notice doesn't mean they're going to be in your bank tomorrow. There is a time, there is a procedural method, there's appeal processes, there's all kinds of things that we go through. But our basic function is that we communicate and we talk and we work with you. What's your budget? What can you do? Sometimes we have to disclose financial reports to them. Sometimes it's just getting compliant and filing your returns that are behind. Not filing returns because you owe money is not a good idea, because that just makes problems worse, creates more penalties and more backlog of delinquent issues. So the best thing is to come forward, lay it out, here's what I can do, and often we kind of, if it's a large debt, we just kind of put that old amount aside and park it over there, get you current and plan and organized so that you're on a current basis, you're doing on a compliant filing basis and paying currently, making estimated payments or tax withholdings on your salary sufficiently, that kind of thing. And then we chip away at the old debt, and through an installment plan and to a payment program that we can set up with them. Because one of our main objectives is to keep the IRS out of your bank account. I mean, if you ignore everything, eventually they come and levy your bank account. They'll put liens on your credit report and on your properties. So we try to prevent that as best as possible, and by communicating and by speaking and by working out some plans, we can accomplish those things. In certain rare situations where there's no assets or where there's no real income or severe loss of income, an offering compromise might be the program. But generally, we can work out with data, we can generally work out a repayment plan over a period of years, often within 5 years. The other thing we do often is to get the cycle going and to make you look good in front of the IRS is that we have you make voluntary payments. Let's say you owe $100,000 and you know, I can afford $1,500 a month, and so even though we haven't got the plans yet worked out, we'll do some voluntary payments, and that makes you look real good in front of the IRS agent or officer, because hey, you're making voluntary payments. That person can then work on issues that are more pertinent or more important for them, because money's coming in, and that's the ultimate goal from their point of view. So the big thing is to not hide. Look at the notices, watch for those notices, respond to those notices, let us communicate on those notices, and just we'll work with you. And this could take a long time, but we can methodically and procedurally and carefully kind of work through the process.
The other thing that happens, a lot of times you'll have K-1s or 1099s or even salary and the government will come in and assess tax based on the gross amount that they're seeing, and they don't
Right.
know your deductions, your itemized deductions or whatever.
That's right.
So a lot of cases where you have large tax amounts due. We have a current client that I think is, I don't remember the letters, but they sent him in a statutory assessment
Yeah, right.
of almost $1.2 million, right,
Yeah,
Gary?
yeah,
And-
$1.2 million,
and
$1.3 million.
by the time we got through, our staff under Gary's and Art Rothenberg, another one of our accountants under their supervision, we created the books, we created the tax returns, we came up, I think that $1.2 million came to 300,000
Yeah,
or
even
something.
a little less, yeah, a little less even, yes.
So a lot of times you're panicked because you see a big amount, but you really got to sit down with this. Planning is everything. I keep stressing that. Let's come on in. We're willing to do a free 3-year tax review. When there's tax liabilities due, we want to go back as far as we can go. With the new amnesty program, it's an 8-year review.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of factors that go in. I really want to get away from the negative connotation of filing. I want to get away from the negative connotation of some of these things that are hidden in bills. I think that if you do good planning, you get current, you work with a firm like ours where we're constantly updating the client's file to make sure what they owe and that they're paying their tax, I think that you'll find that you'll be a lot happier, the government will be a lot happier. They need the money, so they are coming on strong.
That's right, exactly.
And please call Gary or I at 800-999-8931, or if you want to just email me, it's mglazer, Glazer, at glazerfinancial.com. If you want to contact Gary, it's G. Shearling at glazerfinancial.com, and it's SCH.
IERLING.
Thank you.